So pleased to bring you two very special guests today. We've got an incredible film that is being released here at the Tribeca Festival. So we have Carlos, who is the director, and we have Victoria, who is the main subject. I was so drawn to this story, first of all, when I saw that it was in Albert Lea, Minnesota, which is just, less than an hour from here. And one of the big points of our show, one of the main missions of our show is to connect people. And I think the best way that we can do that is to sit and listen and hear each other's stories. I feel like anytime people sit down together and really listen to someone else's story, you always get up from that table as friends. Victoria, when you were first approached about telling your story, what did you think about that? What went through your mind?
To be honest, I thought it was like a spam. I thought it was a spam email and I didn't answer it right away. Yeah.
I remember, yeah.
So for me, most of my life, I just ran through things like forward and forward and forward. And so with that is that you never get to heal. You just keep like moving on, forgiving and forgetting, the Minnesota Nice kind of motto. Yeah. But I learned that you can't just forget. You have to be aware of what happened to you in your past, and you have to be aware of your reality and surroundings around you in order to grow.
It took 2.5 years for me to finally be sentenced from the original date that I was arrested. The judge says, "All rise," and I stood up and I looked back and I, smile at my family and I'm like, "I love you guys." And then the judge says, "Please tell me why do you think I shouldn't send you to prison?" I said, "I want to be here and give a life to my children that they deserve. I want to right the wrong I've done to my community. I want to be a better person, and I'm working on that every day." He says, "I don't think that's remorseful enough." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And I kind of look back and I look forward and I'm like, "What are you saying?" And he's like, "I'm sorry." He's like, "I'm going to give you 88 months. I'm denying your departure and you will go to prison."
So Carlos, tell me about how you discovered Victoria's story and how you went about trying to make that into a documentary.
Yeah, I first learned about Victoria reading an article she wrote on the Marshall Project. I think the name, I forget, it was something like, due to this law, I have 1 year to stay home with my babies, after which I have to go into prison. How will I prepare? And that question that she posts on the article, I was like, how would you prepare? How can anyone prepare to do that? So that, the article, even as a written piece, was extremely powerful. And as a filmmaker, I knew that it could be an incredibly powerful story, that countdown to prison, having babies to leave behind. And so immediately I told John James, my producer, and he started making calls, and we got to Victoria after convincing her we were not spam. Yeah, as soon as we started talking to Victoria, we realized that, she was a force of nature, and that this was going to be hopefully a very important film. Yeah.
It is. It's so powerful. And the way that you've told it, just so powerful. Everything from, your faith, your family, those roots that run so deep. And then, also I love that you're kind of bringing light to some of the shortfalls of our healthcare system, of our justice system. I think everyone watching the film, when you get to the part where you're telling about being in front of the judge and thinking, there's hope here. Certainly he will see the work that I've done and my, what I want to do with my life. And then he doesn't. And he says, if I'm remembering right, 88 months. It's such a powerful moment, and such a moment where, Carlos, you have put us in her shoes, and Victoria, you as well, have allowed us to be in your shoes. You can imagine yourself in that moment thinking, wow.
I remember filming, the moment that Victoria's going away. This is when the voiceover that you're describing plays in the movie. And as I was filming, I was crying, which I'm not a crier. I never really cry. and I was filming and crying, which has never happened. And you looking at this thing, you're seeing Victoria going away, and you just want someone to like hold that door open. Like
Yeah.
you're watching something that seems unavoidable when it actually is not unavoidable. It's something that could be dealt with. It's just bad policy. That's what it is. So
Mhm.
it felt, this anguish of like, there's nothing that we can do to stop this when actually there is, and hopefully that is what we can do in the future.
I am super grateful. Us here speaking is just making one step forward for change. The more people that are willing and wanting, or even just curious, really opens that door a little bit more. And so that's really every day. That's what I wake up, and my mission is to not only love my babies and love my life and live healthy, but just to build that awareness and try to be there and open that door a little bit farther every day for someone else. I get that every day in the line of work that I do as a peer recovery specialist. I get to see both sides of the cities, and I'm so grateful to be standing on the side where I am. But I'm also very humbled knowing that I get to stand alongside other people that are struggling too. So,
What a powerful force you are together. When you've got somebody to stand with you, when you can look at you and go, okay, she's been through this, and look at how far she's come, to be able to stand like that, not in shame, in your power, in what you've overcome, is just tremendous. It's tremendous. So, well, thank you guys so very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Pleasure.
All right, we'll be back with more Midwest Access in just a few minutes.